Hello. Okay, let's talk about episode 2, season 13, Love Island UK. We have a lot of thoughts on this, a lot of thoughts. But we have George and Yasmin entering the villa as bombshells. And everybody's kind of broken off into groups and they're chit chatting, but they all like pretty much jump up and they're like, oh, hey, what's going on? Except for Lola. She's kind of like enjoying her chat with Samraj. I can totally see why. Like, he's my favorite too. But, okay, so they come on in and they start at the fire pit with everybody and they're trying to introduce themselves a little bit. You can tell Yasmin's a little nervy because of their secret mission. George is trying, he's also nervy, but he's trying to come off as more confident. And they even ask him, they're like, okay, take a look around and who's like your type. And he points to Lola. He also had mentioned that he's not necessarily successful with blondes because they kind of remind him of brother sister vibes, which I get that in some cases, but at the same time I'm like, not every blonde looks like your sister, so that's weird. He's already giving me weird vibes, Mr. Footballer. Anyway, they chit chat a little bit. I think Yasmin is a little too nervous, and so they basically like break off and the girls go chat with Yasmin and kind of give her a debrief about like, if it's okay to chat and all that. And they're like, yeah, it's day one, like, or day two, it's not a big deal, like everybody's chatting with everybody, get to know everyone. And Yasmin's like, all right, sweet, cool. And she lists her top three. First, it's like Lorenzo and Aiden, who are her typical types. And she also mentions Ope. And I'm really happy that she's like for Ope because she's like, I don't know, she catches on to, because she says her type is like a gentleman who's funny, who likes to laugh at her bad jokes. So she likes somebody that's not too cool for school. But then she mentions the other two boys that were like her type. That's so weird because those were the three that did not say their type on paper was in the group in the first episode. Interesting. Wow. Okay. So anyway, she mentions that to the girls and they're just like, yeah, talk to everybody. And she's like, okay, wish me luck. And then they switch. When George was talking to the boys, he like kind of makes it known that he likes more elegant, mysterious type women. And I'm not sure if I'm buying that, especially with his behavior as he continues on. But yeah, that's what he says. Like, he likes people that he can like work at, like a little bit of a challenge, peel back the layers, like they have layers to them. I'm not sure he's bringing the layers. I have to say, he's the type of player that likes to take all the hits and do all the dangerous, not fun stuff. And so I'm just not sure if he has a lot of regard for his safety. And it's weird. It's like almost like a lack of personal value, and that might project and translate to others. We'll see. Digging deep there, kind of digging deep. Yasmin, she goes and talks to the boys and gets a little bit more open about like her profession, what she's looking for, how long she's been how long she's been single, which is about 7 months, and she's had 3 serious relationships. She's talking to Samraj, who's beside her. He hasn't really had a serious relationship ever, and neither has Lorenzo. And she really takes note of that with Lorenzo. She's just like, okay, big red flag, gonna watch that. And Aiden like sticks up for him, was like, he's just looking, waiting for the right person, blah blah. And she's like, okay. So she's really just trying to like navigate and get to know the boys. And George goes over to the girls. He asks them first, is everybody happy in their couples? First he had asked the boys like, okay, who's everybody with? He's literally like taking notes. Like when Samraj talks about Mika, he's, a little like, oh, okay. And sure enough, when he goes with the girls, Lola clocks this. I love my detective. Like, oh, I'm the same way. I'm like, not a professional, but this is how our brains work. She clocks it because he looks at Mika when she's like, yeah, I like my relationship. That's all the girls say that. They're like, yeah, we like our relationships that we're in. He's like, you don't have to lie, basically. And she's like, no, I really do. It was just awkward. Lola kind of makes this face like, that was interesting. That was weird. Like, why would he immediately be threatened by their connection, right? When he pointed out that he liked her. So she just, I think that's like the moment she backs off, even though she was kind of like, happy that he picked her because she likes footballers. She wants to be like a footballer's wife type of thing, and she likes the height difference, she says later on in their little chat. So, which I don't understand. Why do petite women go for tall guys? Because do you understand if you give them babies, You're birthing giants, and you are not a giant. Again, longevity. This is how my brain works. I'm like, how do you not? There's got to be a limit on this height, man. Like, you're gonna die. No, you're not. I would be scared. I would be a little more scared. So yeah, I really like how the girls are trying to make George comfortable and everything like that. He's feeling very welcomed, and they're just trying to make him feel welcome too. And the guys are the same, like especially Ope. Ope is really, really conversational. Like he's really, really confident, and you'll find out it's just like a big threat to George. What I'm noticing is George is threatened by confidence. He is defensive. That's his position in football too. He's immediately threatened by Semraj, and he's threatened by Ope. And I'm noticing that. Okay, trigger warning. This is like a sensitive topic, and I'm not trying to label someone, but it's a little interesting that he's only threatened by the men of color. Just gonna put that out there. Just gonna put that out there. Just gonna put that out there. Like they're winding him up, he says later too. And I'm like, no, they're not. No, they're not. They're just setting the bar really high, and you're like, let's keep it over here. I'm successful when the bar is lower. Yo, if you can't handle the heat, get the F out of the kitchen. George can't handle the heat. He really can't. I don't think he's bringing a whole lot to the table when we're talking like personality and vibes. I think he likes to mirror a lot, and that's how he, kind of is successful. But I was like a little bit like, okay, bro. So they break off, and he pulls Lola for the first like one-on-one chat, and they're talking and they're giggling and they're having a good time and stuff. She, I can tell, is a little distant, very friendly, very nonchalant, and he kind of likes that about her because he thinks that's like a challenge maybe that he can rise up to. And it's like, okay, yeah, I think that doesn't last. It just really doesn't last. Like they have those vibes, but it goes away pretty quickly because then he starts focusing on Robin, who is a blonde, and he's focusing on Mika. So yeah, there's that. But okay, yeah. So in the dressing room with George, he was talking to Semraj, and it was kind of hostile the way he was acting. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't like it at all. I didn't appreciate it at all. But he was just like, fuck this guy. Like, he's Mr. International, blah, blah. It was just a weird vibe. Yeah. So after all that, they get ready for the night, and let's see. I'm gonna try to stay on track. So yeah, George and Yasmin are like having a little debrief session before like they really start socializing with everybody else at the nighttime party, and yeah, he's just got this off vibe about him. He's like, that's at the forefront of his mind, the competition, and yeah, no, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. And I don't think Yasmin knows how to really like approach it either. So she's just kind of like letting him say his piece, but she's also not doing it the same way. She's like, that's at the back of her mind. She's just really trying to get to know everybody, which honestly, I mean, that's the best policy, but also she gets a little too, yeah, I don't know, a little too friendly, I would say, especially based on her decision. So then you have Sam and you have Robin. They're kind of chit-chatting, and I think she's just trying to make sure that, they're still open to exploring. He, however, is just like, you're my number one and I'm focused on you. That's what he told the boys in the bedroom too. He's like, my girl's got a wandering eye, so I'm going to try to secure that a little bit more. And it's like, bro, she wasn't even your first choice. And she knows that. Everybody knows that. So just like, go explore. I just don't think he has the confidence to explore other connections. I think he's struggling with that just a little bit, which, bless his heart, I can totally understand. It's a very loud group, and it's like, how do you find your place in all that? I totally get it. But Robin can feel the pressure, and she's like, oh, no, I'm definitely interested in other people. I don't want to get locked down. This is basically how she's saying it to herself or to the girls later, but she has an interest in like more physical chemistry, and that's not really happening with Sam. So she's like definitely open to exploring. Um, so yeah, and then you have Aiden and Ellie. They're like talking at the fire pit, and they're still kind of flirty and they're still kind of cute. Um, he's just obviously got a wandering eye. He always has, and he always will. Aiden, when I break it down with him, he just really triggers me. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, he triggers me. I think he's more avoidant, and I think he's more vampiric. And that's sounding harsh, but I'm telling you, I've dealt with this, and it can be very subtle. So it just seems like he's pretty territorial over Ellie, getting his smooches, securing his smooches, and making sure they're all cuddly and everything. But whilst he still definitely is very open to the new bombshell and makes that known, and yeah, I'm just like not a fan, not a fan, especially in the next episode. So in this one, after they have their little debrief, Yasmin and George, Yasmin pulls Ope, and she was with, or he was sitting with Angelista, and so Lorenzo and Jasmine are right there sitting with Angelista, and they're just kind of like, oh, because Angelista feels a type of way about it. She's like, oh, wow, okay, already linking arms. Huh, okay, how about that? And so, I think that is Angelista's cue that, okay, she's got to really not commit to anything yet, because anything can happen. So that was her sign, but it still stung, you could tell. And Ope and Yasmin, they really hit it off. Like, they have this funny banter where she just kind of like links arms with him, and she feels really like happy and secure because he's like confident and fun. She just immediately has this body language of like, oh, I'm being taken care of. Like, he knows what he's doing. He's secure in his manhood and in his personality. He's just like, ooh, balanced. Here's the thing. She is attracted to his balance, but I think she still has some internal work to do with like her self-worth and her confidence, because she's still attracted to these like toxic traits in Aiden and Lorenzo. And she even says it. She's like, that hasn't worked for me in the past. Like, she's onto herself. She knows what she's doing. But she's also like, I don't have a clear enough head about it yet. She's not seeing all the angles because she's not in on the boys' chats, and she's not in on everything. So she's like exploring her options, but it's like Aiden gets his hooks in her, and then he doesn't let go like he did with Ellie. He's doing the same vampiric thing. So yeah, no, I don't know about that. So I hope she just continues to explore and not give Aiden too much the benefit of the doubt. Like, she really needs to pay attention to that a little bit better. And so then you see Robin and George, and they like go off for a little chat, and they're having good chemistry, they're having good vibes, like it's developing, he's like liking her personality, he thinks she's fun, but I think he can sense like kind of like that frustration, that physical frustration from her. And so I think he picks up on that pretty quickly, pretty early on. And so that's kind of like how they connect, is like more on the physical. And that's what she was missing with Sam. But I think she goes from one end of the spectrum to the other. And that's going to be a problem later. I can already tell, because she even has to shut him down because he goes too far. He thinks that like her openness and her passion is like a free door, like okay, yeah, just like anything goes type of thing, which is completely misreading her. Like, she's not going to be like that, but he's hoping that maybe she's yeah. So she talks with the girls, Robin, after that, and she's a little nervous, she's a little worried about how Sam's going to take it, and how Sam's like a little bit too focused on her, and that's not what she was wanting. That's not really even what they discussed, but he kind of switched gears today, and I think he was just feeling a little bit worried about being dumped, worried about, the obvious. So, okay, then the toe sucking conversation you have with Samraj and Jasmine. So he says he's not a feet person, yet he's like, oh no, put those feet in my face type of thing too. So I don't know what he's talking about. Like, either you're a feet person or you're not. So I think there's just a lot of chemistry between them. And so he just like throws it out the window. He's just like, you know what? Yes, like she's gorgeous. Like she's got the power. So he's just like, actually, your toes, they look delicious. Like it was just like, okay, out of nowhere, I got it. And then you have George. He pulls Mika for a chat, and they start chatting and getting on. This is where I think that George's mirroring comes into play, because Mika has a very bubbly, kind, comfortable presence, and he loves that. You know, he's nervy, so he's just like, oh man, yeah, she like totally makes me feel comfortable and stuff. I don't think he's giving her a whole lot though on the personality page, because he asks her every time they chat. He's like asking her like, okay, so you like in Samraj? You know, he's still trying to poke holes in that. She's like, yeah, he's nice, he's great, stuff like that. So he just knows that's competition, and he can't really compete. You can't compete where you don't compare, and I don't think you should be comparing yourself to anyone. You should attract what's in alignment with yourself, right? You know, that's where you're going to have the most success. But we see how that unfolds. So then you have Yasmin and Aiden talking, and he's immediately like super cuddly and super like close with her. And my first alarm that went off is just like, bro, do you not know personal space? Like you just literally, and how? This is why I think he's a game player. It's like, how can you be so cuddly with Ellie, and then you're so cuddly with this new girl? And you know, he's like all whispering too. I'm just like, yeah, you should not be proud of your actions, honey. Like, I'm not a fan. I don't know. He's trying to act like the boy next door, but he really is just, I think he's horned up. I'm not gonna lie. I think he's just like really unable to control himself. And that's what this is. Like, you see it play out because there's hesitation. Yasmin's picking up on something. She's not sure what it is yet, but she can tell there's like this disconnect with his words and his actions. And there literally is. Like, those two are not aligned, his words and his actions, because he doesn't keep it above board with Ellie. He really downplays it when she asks about, you know, how's it going with I basically am talking about episode 2 and 3. This is really hard. I'm trying to keep them separate. But I've seen 3, so I'm like, So anyway, while they're chatting, Robin takes Ellie up to the girls' room and was just kind of like trying to get her vibe on everything. And Ellie's like, you know what? It's fine. I'm just going to see how he acts after this chat. You know, she's going to play it by ear. Even though she's like a little like, okay, I'm already noticing the switch up. And Robin clocks it. She's like, you know what? You're only human. You know, you deserve to feel a type of way and just, you know, own it and stuff. But yeah, they're like, Aiden and Yasmin are a little too cozy for like just having met. So then, okay, all the chats kind of wrap up and they start playing this like phone game where everybody's phone with their names on them are in the bucket. This is a little cluttered of a game. I will say they could have cleaned it up slightly more, but they have the game and it's called Phone Roulette. And the first question is like, okay, who's here for clout? And then Mika chooses Ope, but it's just because he's like really comfortable in front of the cameras. But then George chips in and chimes in and he's like, yeah, I have to agree. I think he's like, you know, playing it up for the camera. Ope does not take it personal at all. He takes it on the chin and he's just like, you know what, that's just my personality and it's okay. It's okay if it's coming off that way. Mika was like really uncomfortable and he was like, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's like, it's all good. So yeah, oh, and Ope falls. He needs new shoes. Like, I really, he's like the second time he slid and he falls and I'm like, bro, you're such a, and everybody has a good laugh over it. And he was like, that was so embarrassing. They're like, no, it was wholesome. Like, seriously. So most of the people do understand his personality and they're good with it. But the ones that think of him as competition obviously are not. So there's that. And then you have Yaz. She reads Lola's question and it's like, who's a better kisser than your partner? And she chooses Lorenzo and they kiss. So That's interesting. Like Lorenzo is not doing anything, yet he's pulling all this attention. It's got to be the Italian charm because he's not really given a whole lot in the personality realm. Again, my opinion. I'm not trying to attack people. I'm just like, this is what I'm seeing. And then you have, I don't want to go through all of these, but yeah, they just play the phone game. Um, let's see, hold on. Okay, so one of the other interesting ones that happens is Angelista is asked who is the biggest game player, and Aiden's the one that's reading it, and I'm like, she could have said Aiden, but she chooses George because she doesn't know him well enough, and I'm really like, no, you clocked it, you did good. He is a footballer, but he's also playing mad game, like he's moving mad. Like not everybody's putting it together yet, but then you have you have the funniest thing. Lorenzo is completely grossed out by toe sucking, and then he decides to lick Yasmin's toes, and he's gagging before and after. And basically, this pisses off Jasmine, his partner, because she's like, huh, not only do I like that, but he didn't choose me for none of these challenges. And he didn't. He basically avoided her the whole time. He later like has a conversation with her, and he's just like, I just want to have fun, I just want to have fun. And it's like, she's still not putting it together that he's more surface level, and he continues to be this way. Like he doesn't like to deep it. He doesn't like to be deep. I think he relies a lot on situationships types of dynamics, and that's not Love Island. I don't think they're on the same page, and I don't think they're getting there anytime soon. So yeah, anyway, then you have Jasmine has to pick one boy and one girl who's giving pick-me energy. So she picks George, and then for the girl, she really has a hard time. She's like, I don't know who to pick. And then you have Robin step up, and she's like, pick me, and just like making it easy. And she's like, you know what? She also takes it on the chin. She's just such a sweetie. She just doesn't care. She has a very thick skin. She's a total sweetheart. I really, really love Robin. That's why I think she deserves better than George. But, you gotta have your experiences, so I don't blame her for that. She's gonna learn what she does and doesn't like through all of this, just like everybody else. So, again, it's not the end of the world. I really think her heart is so golden that she deserves someone amazing. Okay, and then Snog, who you're most attracted to, was given to Robin. She picks... Oh, that's so funny. I think she picks George because I put Charlie and I keep calling him Charlie. So they have a kiss finally, and that's what kicks off their whole little connection. Is like, ooh yeah, he said she has a lot of tongue and he likes that, and I'm like, man, it's fine. But then you have quite a few more. This game takes up the whole episode. Yeah. I'm getting confused with the next episode because I've already seen episode 3, like I said, so I'm just gonna have to end this soon and start the episode 3. But yeah, that's the thing. Lorenzo and Jasmine, their conversation afterward, what he's talking about, just wanting to have fun, she reads between the lines. She's like, okay, so I'm not fun type of thing. I don't know, it's just not, it's not landing well. And I think what Lorenzo is really trying to say is that he does not want, and he is not capable, I don't think he's emotionally mature enough to be in something serious. I don't think he has a whole lot of access to his emotions. It's just a common theme I am seeing with him. Not that there's anything wrong with you've never had a serious relationship, but it's kind of more of the reason why, maybe you haven't met the right person, but are you also accessing the best version of yourself, And I don't think he is. I think he hasn't tapped into that. So for whatever reason, I think they're very mismatched on their emotional maturity. So they keep trying to force it and make it work. I don't I'm not seeing them as a good match. But you know, they're gonna figure that out for themselves. Oh, the other one I liked. Okay, so Ope, he got challenged to do a sexy dance on somebody he's not in a couple with. So he sexy dances on Yasmin, and it's so cute. It's like high energy. It's so fun. Like, it was really cool. I really liked it. Sean, his biggest competition, dance off, he picks Lorenzo. Sean does like the worm, and he's amazing at it. He does so freaking good. And Lorenzo was like, kind of does this like little mini striptease shimmy, and he's like, yeah, ooh, yeah, okay, I'm out. Like, it's really, again, it's something that Lorenzo kind of struggles with, is that vulnerability. And you know, I feel for him. I get that. Like, we're all on our own personal journeys, but again, I'm seeing that a lot with him. Poor guy. Not poor guy. It's something he has to want to change, and he has to be aware of and kind of learn the tools how to do that. So let's see. George, he gets asked to snog the two islanders and say who's best, which everybody agrees that's pretty savage. So he kisses Mika and Robin, compares the two. He goes and says Robin's the better kisser, even though they're really close, but it's because, yeah, she had a lot of tongue. So for him, he's just like, ooh, physical. He's like more excited about that. I wish she would clock this. She's not clocking it. She doesn't do it until a little bit later. So yeah, the game ends and boys debrief, and let's see. Yeah, it confirms my original suspicions. Like, Jasmine wants to be wined and dined. Aiden is like, oh, I would take somebody to like the pub. And so they're just kind of just different. Sean is, let's see, Sean is a dark horse, and the girls debrief. Lola is protective and a little jelly. Like, she really is starting to zero in on Sean. I don't think he's necessarily as enamored with her, even though he likes her. He's not moving at the same pace as her. I think that closeness in the bed always affects the women more than it affects the guys. You know, guys are more excited, women are more like, this is bonding, this means something. And guys don't quite get that all the time, you know. So yeah, they're cute though. I think they really start to blossom, especially in the next episode. Let's see. Ellie pulls Aiden. I think Ellie should have waited for Aiden to pull her, but she pulls him, and they snog. And yeah, again, he was like asking for a kiss, and I'm like, man, she needs to make him work for it more. Like, she really falls for his little like puppy eyes, and you know, no wonder she gets pissed later. You know, she gets a little pissed because he doesn't care the same about her feelings the way that she cares about his. You know, she puts hers aside and her reason and her logic in the moment, and he's nowhere near doing that for her. So I'm like, okay, there's a imbalance there, and it definitely pisses her off later. So let's see. Oh my god. So yeah, the little game really pissed off Jasmine. She was like, I'm fuming. Like, she's like, Lorenzo has no idea. He's like, doo-doo-doo. She's pissed. She's like, not a fan. So there's that. George is talking to Robin on the terrace, and you know, they have a kiss and everything, but then he suggests the hideaway, which is super like, what? And she shuts him down. She's like, it's gonna be a no. Like, after he's a little pushy, and he even rolls his eyes at her, and I'm just like, you're rolling your eyes, buddy? Like, entitled so much. Who the hell do you think you are? He really rubs me the wrong way. I just see his freaking game. Like, I feel like he would drop Robin so fast after he got what he wanted. And I'm seeing that. And I'm like, Robin, please pull back. Like, chemistry is not the only freaking thing. Like, there's so many other compatibility columns that we need to check off. So I think she needs to also calm down, you know. But yeah. The bombshells have another debrief talking about like, yeah, Yaz is having a hard time George can't pick either. He's not sure if Sam is stepping up enough, but also doesn't want to pick him for like to be seeming like insensitive. But honestly, Sam is the right guy to pick. I wouldn't want him to be picked either, but he's the right one to pick because he's not putting in the graft for anyone else except Robin, even though they're like on their way to friend zoning each other. So he really needed to try to show that he was ready to pursue other options. Like, you're on Love Island, you come here, you have to know that you got to stay open. And he doesn't really have the confidence to do that. So I'm like, man, okay. So bedtime comes, and I think cute hugs by Robin and George. Yeah, they had like a quick little hug. And I remember Robin saying something like, she's like, oh, now I feel bad. And it's like, girl, stop it. No, don't feel bad. No, hold the line. Please hold the freaking line. Anyway, so they sleep in separate, you know. Lola and Sean are kissing in bed. Aiden and Ellie, they're close in bed too. There's like some hair tussling. So again, they're bonding. They're bonding. She deserves more from him than how he acts. But here we go. And then you have, yeah, that's the end of this episode. Oh my God, I finally got through it. I'm sorry, this one was chaotic. It was a little hard because I'd already seen episode 3. So that one I'm going to do a video on too. Yeah, that was just kind of like my little breakdown of this one. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up here. It's already super long. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry. I was like a little nervous too, like with this one, just because I'm like trying to stay organized. My ADHD be getting me. So anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.